Hi there everybody, Sergeant Salt and Pepper back again to do another record pickups video. Later this month there is going to be a record show in Louisville which I will be attending, and I hope to find a lot of good stuff there. I've got some money set aside so that if I find some things, I can get some things and it'll be nice. But today I went to the antique mall again in Elizabethtown and I found some stuff, and then I went to Barnes & Noble and they were having a sale, so I found some things there too. If I sound a little tired, it's because I am a little tired, but I'm gonna do the video anyway. So this is not in any particular order, but this is from the antique mall. So I have been on this quest, on this mission, I guess. I don't know why, but I have been collecting all of Todd Rundgren's records and all of Todd Rundgren's Utopia records. Utopia was his other band. I never had any records by Todd Rundgren or Utopia when I had my big collection, which I traded most of it off or sold it off, whatever you want to call it. So now I'm finding his records and I'm getting them, and my plan is to get all of them, which I already have most of them, but to get all of them and then go through and listen chronologically from the first to the last. So here's a Utopia record I didn't have. It's called Utopia Swing to the Right. So this is one that I did not have, and this is on this is on Bearsville, it looks like, which was the label that he was on for a long time. Next up we have Todd Rundgren Acapella. This, I believe, is the second to last Todd Rundgren album that was released on vinyl of like the original albums. I think there was one after this, Nearly Human, I believe. And I don't know much about this one, but it's on Warner Brothers. So yeah, that's Todd Rundgren. And I got another one. This is Todd Rundgren's Utopia. Also didn't have this one. So cool to have it. And this is also on Bearsville again. And I'm trying to remember, I didn't do this in the other videos, but I'm trying to remember if I can to be able to pull out the record and show you, because I know that that's a thing that's important to a lot of people. So next I found, I guess these are kind of in order a little bit, but there was a booth at the antique mall that had records cheap. Like, I'm talking good albums that were priced at like $3, $1 was ridiculous. So, of course, something like that, you're thinking, oh, it's too good to be true. What's the catch? Well, I don't know if there was a catch, because most of them looked pretty good as far as condition goes. But here's my issue. So, some of these records, the seller, you know, they put tape on, they put tape around, like, you know, the front, I guess, spine or back spine or whatever you want to call it. And it's basically because, like, they don't necessarily want you to take it out and look at it. But here's the thing. I don't buy records unless I can look at the record and make sure it's not scratched. So I just, you know, undid the tape, pulled it out, looked, okay, looks good. Put the tape back on. I'm going to buy this. So, you know, whatever. So, for $1, Lindsey Buckingham solo album, Go Insane. This is Lindsey Buckingham, guitarist for Fleetwood Mac. And I have heard the title track from this album, and I really thought it was cool. And I always thought it'd be cool to have the actual album. So, this is on Elektra, as you can see. And actually, if you look on the other side, it's got this cool little Little image of Lindsay. So this was the one seller or dealer or whatever whose booth, they weren't there, but you know, they had tape, and it's like you can't expect me to just buy a record like sight unseen, like without checking to make sure it's good. So I did check them, and they are good. So next we have, this is Joni Mitchell. So let me pull this one out here. This is Don Juan's Reckless Daughter. I used to have this one. I had most of the 70s era Joni albums from like Court and Spark onwards, because that's the period of Joni Mitchell that I really like. That's actually kind of more the era that my dad really enjoyed of her music, so that's what I got into. I think Court and Spark is my favorite album of hers, and I do have that. So this is on Asylum Records. Cool find. This was $3. And for $3, it's Paul McCartney. For $3, I'm going to pick up some Paul McCartney because, you know, Beatles fan, why not? I actually don't remember if I ever had this one or not, but it's Pipes of Peace. And this one is good. It's an 80s Paul album. And it has, of course, the title track. It has Say, Say, Say with Michael Jackson, which is really good. There's also another song on here called The Man, which he also does with Michael Jackson. And you can probably see Michael Jackson in the picture there. But actually really cool to find this, because I'm not sure if I ever had this or not. But this is on Columbia. So pretty cool find there. So that was cool. And then finally, or actually not finally, we have two more. Excuse me. We have this. Now you're probably looking at this and you're probably thinking, what is this? There's no like title on it. This is The Who's Tommy, performed by the London Symphony Orchestra and Chamber Choir with guest soloists. So it has like Rod Stewart, and I think Keith Moon sings on here and stuff. When I went to pay for my things, the lady at the register has to type everything in, you know. So she's got to look at the albums and go like, Paul McCartney, type Pipes of Peace, type that in, you know, or Todd Rundgren, blah, 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 whatever, you know, type that in. She looked at this, and she couldn't find anything on it. It does say on the spine, but I didn't notice this at the time. So she's looking on the front and the back, and finally she's like, do you know what this is? Because, like, I have to type something in, I don't know what to type. So I pulled out one of the records, and it says Tommy on it. So I said, well, it just says Tommy, and she's like, okay, I guess it's just Tommy. I'll put it in as Tommy's. But that was cool to find that. I see that set. It's like a 2-record set. I see it a lot of times different places, but usually the condition's poor. But the condition on that one looked pretty good. Now this was one of the sort of finds of the day for me, because I've never seen this before. But this is a compilation. I love finding compilations where it's like just a bunch of old songs that are really good. This is Rock Box 80 Hits by the Original Stars, The History of Rock and Roll. Now, if anybody out there who's watching this knows anything about this, or has ever seen this, or has it, let me know. This came out on Silver Eagle Records, which I'm not really familiar with. But if you look at the back, and hopefully that'll kind of focus. I'm not sure if it is, but I'm assuming it is. You can see there's a lot of songs on here. And my first question when I looked at this was, are they the original recordings or are they re-recordings? Because a lot of times they'll trick you into thinking, oh, it's the original recordings, but then it'll be a re-recording. Well, as far as I know, these are the original recordings, I think. So We have like Duke of Earl, Gene Chandler. We have Happy Together, the Turtles, Come Go With Me, the Dell Vikings, the Twist, Chubby Checker, Lightning Strikes, Lou Christie, who passed away recently, rest in peace. I'm not going to go through all of them, but I'll just highlight a few. Spanish Harlem, Benny King, Going Out of My Head, Little Anthony and the Imperials, Long Tall Sally, Little Richard. So if this is all like the original artist, like this is going to be a really cool set to dive into. And it's on this Silver Eagle Records, which I don't know. I've never heard of that label. Next, I went to Barnes & Noble, and they were having a sale on their vinyl, and they were also having a sale on some of their movies. So for $5, this was in the last chance pile. They have a big, like, bin where they say, you know, it's your last chance to get these records, $5. So I got, and I haven't opened these, so, you know, if I don't take them out, it's just because I haven't opened them yet. The other ones, you know, they were all open already. But Van Morrison, Three Chords and the Truth. I have not heard this album, but I like Van Morrison a lot. And for $5, I felt it was a good buy. It says it's on Exile Records, so I thought that'd be cool. And then I got one more for $5. Lyle Lovett, 12th of June. I like Lyle Lovett. You know, actually two of my favorite Lyle Lovett songs, which were pretty good hits for him too, that I like are She's No Lady and If I Had a Boat. I think those are both great songs. And from what I'm seeing on the back, it looks like this is kind of like a standards album. He does like Straighten Up and Fly Right, Gee Baby Ain't I Good to You, and then some other stuff. So Lyle Lovett, and that was on Verve. So then they were having a sale on their movies. And I never get to Barnes & Noble when they're having their sale on their Criterion Collection movies, which are like the high quality, high end movies that, you know, they remaster and they put all this bonus stuff on there, and they're kind of expensive because they're a little more like fancy than just regular, like, you know, DVDs or whatever. So on Blu-ray, these were both 50% off, so it was cool. I got Festival, a film by Murray Lerner, folk music at Newport, 1963 to 1966. So this I thought would be cool because it's probably got Bob Dylan on it. I see in the collage of images on the front Johnny Cash. I do see Bob Dylan. Yes, let me just read you a little bit on the description here. Before Woodstock and Monterey Pop, there was Festival. From 1963 through 1966, Murray Lerner visited the annual Newport Folk Festival to document a thriving idealistic musical movement as it reached its peak as a popular phenomenon. Joan Baez, Bob Dylan, Howlin' Wolf, Johnny Cash, the Staple Singers, Pete Seeger, Son House, and Peter, Paul, and Mary were just a few of the legends who shared the stage at Newport. So, pretty cool. I'm sure there's a lot of good performances on this. And the other one, I literally like saw this kind of high up on the shelf, and I reached up there, and luckily I was able to grab it without knocking it down. This I just thought would be interesting. I love like martial arts, kung fu, and this has Michelle Yeoh in it, who I really like. It's also got Maggie Cheung in it, who's been in a lot of movies. This is two movies. It's The Heroic Trio and Executioners. So for some kung fu martial arts action, you know, I had to give that a shot. I recently did a sort of a play testing research thing for which I was compensated through gift cards, which was nice. One being an Amazon gift card, so I took some of that and I got this. Party at the Palace. This was in 2002. They held a big concert at Buckingham Palace, in the garden of Buckingham Palace, for the Queen. And let me just read you real quick some of the people that are on this. You have Annie Lennox from the Eurythmics. You have Brian Wilson of the Beach Boys. You have Bryan Adams. You have Cliff Richard. You have Elton John. You have Eric Clapton, Joe Cocker, Ozzy Osbourne, Paul McCartney, Phil Collins, Queen, Ray Davies, Rod Stewart, Steve Winwood, Tom Jones, Tony Bennett, and a bunch of others. Big concert with all these people, a lot of them who I really like. That was a no-brainer for me to get this. So those were my finds for today, and the next time I do a video, it will probably be after the big record show, and hopefully I can find some good things. So, you know me, always getting records, you know, I'm the record guy once again. And this is Sergeant Salt and Pepper saying thank you all for watching, and I will catch you all next time. Later.